Britain entered the Second World War believing its survival depended on aircraft that could inspire public confidence, yet practical performance mattered far more. Each early confrontation with the Luftwaffe reminded commanders that elegant lines and newspaper praise could never replace rugged dependability, especially when losses mounted quickly. As the Spitfire captured attention, quieter workhorses carried the burden with steadfast discipline. Hawker's fighters became essential components of this struggle, filling roles that demanded durability, flexibility, and relentless operational endurance across unforgiving theaters. The Hurricane, though less glamorous than its sleek counterpart, proved indispensable because it absorbed punishment effectively, providing RAF pilots with reliable performance under extreme stress. Its success offered a blueprint for machines prioritizing reliability over beauty. By 1940, Britain understood that air superiority required not only iconic machines, but also rugged platforms capable of sustained combat, forcing engineers to pursue innovations grounded in practical necessity rather than romantic idealism. Hawker thus continued refining designs shaped by battlefield realities rather than public perception, establishing a tradition of rugged efficiency. The company's design philosophy emphasized structural strength and ease of maintenance, qualities vital for frontline use where ground crews worked under constant pressure. Pilots trusted Hawker aircraft because they reacted predictably during emergencies, giving crews confidence when missions demanded aggressive tactics and low-altitude endurance. This trust created loyalty that shaped future development. These qualities positioned Hawker at the center of Britain's evolving aerial strategy, ensuring its designs remained invaluable even when overshadowed by flashier machines with stronger public followings. Each subsequent design iteration built upon lessons learned from early battles, reinforcing the brand's practical reputation. As the war expanded, Britain faced increasingly sophisticated German threats, including faster fighters, heavier bombers, and new strike weapons capable of devastating urban centers. Hawker machines adapted to these shifting demands with steady improvements, offering performance shaped by real frontline pressures rather than theoretical expectations. The Typhoon's emergence demonstrated this progression, revealing both promise and limitations that guided future breakthroughs and shaped the development of its successor. It showed Hawker that raw power alone could not defeat evolving threats, pushing engineers to blend speed with refined aerodynamic design. Facing the Luftwaffe's innovations required a fighter capable of handling extreme, low-altitude pressures while maintaining superior speed, forcing designers to rethink traditional structural assumptions. These challenges inspired a new pursuit of aerodynamic efficiency within Hawker's design teams. By late 1941, a consensus formed within the Air Ministry that Britain needed aircraft stronger, faster, and more capable than anything previously fielded, creating an opening for Hawker's next evolution. Engineers recognized that the coming years would demand unprecedented innovation. Within this crucible of necessity, the foundation for the Tempest emerged as the ultimate expression of Hawker's rugged philosophy, promising unmatched performance against Germany's looming superweapons. It would soon redefine Britain's aerial capabilities during the war's decisive final phase. When Britain reflected on its wartime skies, popular memory clung tightly to the shining silhouette of the Spitfire, yet reality told a different story beneath that familiar legend. The Battle of Britain depended not simply on elegance or publicity, because victory relied on aircraft that could endure chaos, absorb punishment, and return pilots safely despite overwhelming odds. Hawker fighters carried this responsibility with unwavering resilience, proving their value through relentless operational performance rather than dramatic headlines. The Hurricane flew more sorties than the Spitfire during the battle, accounting for the majority of enemy aircraft destroyed, demonstrating that appearances never revealed true combat importance. Pilots trusted its sturdy frame and predictable handling, especially during tight engagements where maneuverability mattered less than survivability against seasoned German formations. Ground crews also praised its straightforward construction, permitting rapid repairs under conditions that left delicate machines grounded. Throughout the war, Hawker aircraft adapted to expanding operational needs, supporting missions that extended far beyond dogfights over southeast England, providing essential firepower for campaigns in North Africa, the Mediterranean, and Western Europe. These missions demanded rugged performance in extreme climates, forcing machines to withstand dust, heat, and constant stress unknown to temperate British skies. Their reliability under these conditions strengthened the RAF's capacity to strike hard against entrenched German positions. As the Luftwaffe increased pressure across multiple fronts, Hawker fighters evolved into indispensable tools for ground attack operations, performing low-level strikes essential to Allied advances. The Typhoon exemplified this transformation, carrying rockets and heavy ordnance with devastating accuracy across enemy columns, armor, and supply convoys. Its impact on German logistics became undeniable as armored divisions suffered mounting losses from repeated strike missions. Although the Spitfire dominated discussions of grace and high-altitude maneuver, Hawker machines filled roles that demanded raw strength and brutal close-range firepower, focusing on tactical necessity rather than public imagination. Their contributions rarely appeared in glamorous wartime posters. Yet commanders understood their strategic value, relying on their consistency for successive offensives. Pilots flying Typhoons and Hurricanes became specialists in ground attack operations, navigating flak-filled valleys and low passes where a single mistake invited disaster. Their aircraft withstood punishment that would have crippled more refined machines, allowing squadrons to maintain aggressive operational tempos throughout intense campaigns. This heavier workload revealed the essential truth that Hawker fighters carried the real burden of Britain's air war, performing tasks that lacked glamour but shaped victory through relentless pressure. They became the backbone of tactical air support across multiple theaters. As operational demands grew harsher, Air Ministry planners recognized that the next generation of fighters must combine Hawker durability with superior speed, setting the stage for a machine capable of confronting evolving German threats. This understanding pushed development toward greater power and refined aerodynamics. The emergence of new German technology, including faster fighters and long-range bombers, signaled a need for a more advanced Hawker design, forcing engineers to push beyond the Typhoon's limitations. Britain needed a fighter that matched practicality with cutting-edge performance. From these requirements emerged the foundation for the Tempest, a machine destined to exceed the expectations established by its predecessors, while carrying the same understated yet indispensable spirit that defined Hawker's wartime legacy. London, England, February 1940, carried a mood of tense anticipation as Britain's aviation designers recognized that victory demanded bold innovation. Each drafting room echoed with the steady rhythm of pencils tracing new lines, marking the beginning of a technological race destined to reshape the entire conflict. Sidney Cam understood these pressures clearly, and he believed the nation required an aircraft pushing far beyond the familiar limits. Cam approached the challenge with unwavering discipline, constructing his concepts around simple equations balancing speed, power, and reliability. His mind often drifted beyond existing airframes, envisioning a machine embodying raw strength fused with refined aerodynamic control. Many engineers argued that no single fighter could surpass the already legendary Hurricane, yet Cam refused to accept comfortable assumptions. He studied combat reports from France, noticing patterns revealing that future air battles would demand greater altitude performance and far stronger engines. These observations shaped his early sketches, encouraging bold dimensions and structural reinforcements intended to harness unprecedented horsepower. Cam felt certain that only a radically upgraded power plant could deliver superiority, giving pilots the advantage needed against expanding enemy capabilities. Factories across Britain struggled under relentless production demands, prompting Cam to design components that could be manufactured quickly without sacrificing structural integrity. He coordinated closely with workshops, ensuring each new idea aligned with practical limitations concerning materials and manufacturing tools. This collaborative approach allowed rapid prototyping, creating an environment where theoretical ambition consistently met industrial feasibility. Engineers frequently gathered around Cam's desk, discussing airflow behavior, stress distribution, and engine mounting techniques with meticulous precision. He insisted every modification serve a clear purpose, warning that unnecessary complexity often created operational vulnerabilities. His disciplined methodology earned respect, turning Hawker's design department into a tightly coordinated machine functioning with strategic harmony. By spring, Cam's evolving plans embraced the immense potential offered by Rolls-Royce's experimental power plants. He recognized that an advanced engine promised unmatched acceleration, transformative climb rates, and exceptional resilience under heavy combat loads. This conviction motivated continual adjustments, refining structural geometry to handle massive torque without compromising pilot control. Each prototype drawing revealed a fighter intended to outfly opponents across vast altitudes where thin air challenged stability and responsiveness. Cam visualized pilots operating confidently within these harsh environments, trusting an aircraft engineered specifically for unforgiving conditions. His insistence on high-altitude capability reflected forward thinking shaped by intelligence reports, forecasting prolonged strategic bombing campaigns. Technicians constructed wooden models for wind tunnel testing, gathering airflow data supporting Cam's aerodynamic theories. He reviewed every measurement carefully, adjusting wing sweep, radiator design, and fuselage taper to achieve smoother airflow. These refinements gradually shaped a sleek silhouette signaling dramatic progress toward his envisioned successor. As final design elements converged, Hawker's workshops buzzed with anticipation surrounding the birth of an entirely new fighter lineage. Cam remained composed, guiding the process with patient authority and unwavering confidence. His determination marked the emergence of a machine destined to influence every aerial engagement of the approaching years. Thus, the foundation of a revolutionary aircraft began forming quietly within Hawker's walls, setting Britain on a course toward future air dominance. Cam's vision demonstrated how ingenuity, discipline, and relentless pursuit of improvement forged tools capable of turning tides amid global conflict. Dunsfold Aerodrome, Surrey, September 1942, presented a landscape filled with nervous expectation as test pilots prepared Hawker's newest creation for demanding evaluations. Every mechanic sensed that the Typhoon represented a bold technological leap, carrying immense responsibility during an increasingly desperate chapter of the war. Initial flights revealed astonishing low-altitude speed, proving the aircraft capable of outrunning many contemporary fighters. Yet troubling mechanical issues quickly overshadowed early enthusiasm. Pilots reported dangerous carbon monoxide leaks, forcing emergency landings that highlighted structural vulnerabilities demanding immediate attention. Engine failures emerged as another critical challenge, creating situations where severe vibrations threatened stability during high-stress maneuvers, requiring precise corrective action. Engineers recognized these failures as consequences of unprecedented power, revealing weaknesses only extensive operational testing could properly expose. Cam's design teams worked relentlessly, studying airflow disruptions around the massive engine that produced unexpected stresses across forward fuselage panels. Their investigations confirmed that the aircraft required careful reinforcement, guiding structural revisions addressing weaknesses without drastically increasing overall weight. Combat deployment intensified pressure, as frontline squadrons flying low-level intercept missions uncovered additional issues with climb rate and high-altitude performance. These shortcomings hindered engagements with enemy fighters operating comfortably above the Typhoon's effective ceiling, limiting its usefulness beyond ground attack roles. Despite these frustrations, pilots discovered the aircraft possessed extraordinary strength during diving attacks, allowing precision strikes against enemy transport columns. This emerging reputation as a formidable ground attack machine reshaped tactical doctrine, turning perceived weaknesses into operational advantages supporting advancing Allied forces. Armament upgrades transformed the Typhoon further, enabling it to carry rockets capable of destroying armored vehicles with devastating accuracy. Ground crews adapted quickly, refining loading procedures that ensured reliable performance during missions demanding exact timing and flawless execution. Operational reports continued identifying flaws, however, particularly concerning tail section stability during extreme maneuvers executed at very high speeds. Investigators determined that airflow turbulence created unpredictable forces, prompting design modifications improving rigidity and overall aerodynamic balance. These relentless challenges fueled Cam's resolve, inspiring him to refine every component that contributed to performance limitations revealed during intensive combat experience. His determination transformed failure into knowledge, guiding decisions shaping the next evolution of Hawker's fighter lineage. By late 1943, lessons extracted from countless sorties formed the blueprint for a successor designed to overcome every Typhoon weakness. The aircraft emerging from this crucible represented the culmination of hardship, innovation, and sacrifice forged through unforgiving operational realities. Thus, the Typhoon's troubled legacy became the foundation upon which a far superior machine would rise, demonstrating how adversity often produces advances impossible through theory alone. Cam's persistence proved that progress born from failure frequently yields achievements defining future victories across expanding battlefields. Langley, Berkshire, January 1941. Carried an atmosphere of determined urgency as Britain confronted a widening war demanding aircraft exceeding existing performance standards. Engineers inside Hawker's design offices understood that incremental improvements no longer sufficed, requiring revolutionary concepts addressing challenges emerging from rapidly evolving aerial combat environments. Sidney Cam recognized the Typhoon's limitations, acknowledging that its promising foundation required complete reimagining rather than superficial refinements, guiding him toward drafting an entirely new proposal. His early sketches explored enlarged wings, refined fuselage contours, and advanced cooling systems, each intended to unlock higher speeds and improve stability across demanding altitudes. The resulting concept received the designation P-1012, representing a bold attempt to build a fighter capable of outperforming every enemy aircraft observed in operational theaters. Cam insisted that this machine must deliver superior climb rates, exceptional control authority, and reliable structural resilience, ensuring dependable handling during extreme combat conditions. Engine selection became a central focus, particularly as Britain evaluated several powerful options promising unprecedented performance capabilities under sustained operational strain. Rolls-Royce, Napier, and Bristol all presented potential solutions, introducing complexities requiring careful examination of reliability, maintenance demands, and supply chain limitations. Design meetings revealed fierce debates concerning wing architecture, especially regarding shapes intended to reduce drag while improving maneuverability at very high speeds. Cam eventually settled on an elegantly thin elliptical wing, enabling exceptional aerodynamic efficiency unmatched by existing Hawker designs, reshaping expectations for future fighters. The Air Ministry recognized the urgency behind this development, pressing Hawker to deliver prototypes swiftly despite wartime shortages slowing production across multiple sectors. Resource scarcity forced engineers to innovate creatively, employing manufacturing techniques that maximized available materials without compromising structural integrity. Wind tunnel trials confirmed that the P-1012 delivered airflow, characteristics significantly superior to the Typhoon, offering smoother handling during transitions between medium and high altitudes. These encouraging results strengthened support for rapid prototyping, demonstrating that Cam's instincts aligned precisely with emerging operational requirements. Flight test planning highlighted additional advantages, particularly concerning forward visibility, essential for pilots engaging fast, low-altitude targets during intense combat engagements. Engineers refined cockpit layouts, adjusting canopy designs that improved situational awareness, offering pilots greater confidence during high-risk missions. As prototypes neared completion, confidence surrounding the P-1012 grew, spreading among squadrons longing for an aircraft capable of dominating dynamic battlefields. Ground crews anticipated a machine easier to maintain. Pilots envisioned performances unachievable by existing fighters, and commanders recognized strategic implications shaping forthcoming campaigns. Thus, Britain's urgent need for a new champion aligned with Hawker's relentless pursuit of innovation, producing a design destined to redefine air superiority. The P-1012's emergence marked the beginning of the Tempest, an aircraft forged from necessity, vision, and unyielding commitment to overcoming wartime adversity. Farnborough, Hampshire, February 1943, presented a landscape of technical intensity as engineers evaluated power plants intended to transform the Tempest from ambitious prototype into operational reality. Every decision concerning engines carried far-reaching consequences, demanding careful consideration of reliability, maintenance burden, and wartime production limits. The initial Tempest Mark V adopted the Napier Sabre II, an exceptionally powerful sleeve valve engine delivering remarkable low-level performance, yet notorious maintenance challenges. Ground crews worked tirelessly addressing ignition issues, lubrication demands, and delicate tolerances, revealing the complex nature of sustaining advanced technology under combat pressure. Despite these frustrations, pilots praised the Sabre's astonishing acceleration, enabling rapid dives and decisive attacks against agile threats challenging Allied air superiority. Its explosive power granted the Tempest unmatched authority near treetop altitudes, shaping tactical doctrines emphasizing aggressive interception strategies across expanding operational zones. However, Britain understood the danger of relying exclusively upon a single engine type, prompting development of several alternative Tempest marks, designed to safeguard combat readiness. The Mark II introduced the Bristol Centaurus radial engine, offering impressive durability under heavy strain while simplifying maintenance procedures essential for frontline airfields. Testing revealed that the Centaurus delivered smoother performance at medium altitudes, providing reliable climb rates beneficial for missions requiring sustained patrol coverage. Its air-cooled design eliminated vulnerabilities associated with liquid cooling systems, reducing risk during enemy fire and streamlining repair cycles supporting continuous sorties. The Mark VI represented another iteration of the Sabre platform, incorporating improvements enhancing cooling efficiency and operational lifespan under prolonged high-power settings. Engineers reinforced components vulnerable to thermal stress, delivering an engine more capable of enduring punishing conditions demanded by intensive Allied offensives. Experimental variants explored additional power plants, including the Rolls-Royce Griffin, though production difficulties prevented large-scale deployment, despite promising initial results. These experiments highlighted Britain's willingness to diversify engine sources, ensuring that the Tempest remained viable despite unpredictable industrial challenges. Each Tempest mark provided unique strengths, enabling squadrons to tailor aircraft selection based on mission requirements, geographical conditions, and logistical constraints. Commanders valued this flexibility, recognizing that adaptability allowed the Tempest to excel across varied theaters, including Western Europe, South Asia, and maritime patrol zones. Operational records demonstrated that reliability concerns diminished significantly as ground crews mastered engine nuances, refining procedures that enhanced performance consistency throughout extended campaigns. Their expertise converted technological complexity into dependable battlefield capability, ensuring maximum readiness during critical engagements. The evolution of Tempest engines reflected Britain's unrelenting pursuit of power, efficiency, and durability despite material shortages and overwhelming wartime pressures, proving that mastery of engineering diversity played a decisive role in shaping aerial victory. Newchurch, Kent, April 1944, carried an atmosphere thick with anticipation as Tempest Mark V squadrons prepared for their first operational missions. Pilots understood that Europe's shifting strategic situation demanded aircraft capable of outperforming increasingly desperate enemy tactics, creating pressure unlike anything previously experienced. The Tempest's arrival coincided with Germany's transition toward defensive operations, prompting Luftwaffe units to conserve resources while launching swift, opportunistic strikes. Allied commanders recognized the importance of introducing a fighter able to counter these unpredictable attacks, making the Tempest's debut profoundly significant. Initial sorties revealed the aircraft's astonishing speed at low altitudes, granting pilots the ability to chase enemy fighters attempting escape through rapid dives. This performance advantage forced German units to reassess familiar evasion strategies, reducing their confidence during contested engagements. Pilots praised the Tempest's precise handling, emphasizing its stability while executing aggressive turns at speeds previously dangerous for earlier British fighters. These characteristics encouraged daring interception tactics, enabling squadrons to confront enemy aircraft with unprecedented authority across rapidly changing battle zones. Combat intensified as the Luftwaffe launched attacks targeting British coastal installations, prompting Tempest units to respond swiftly with overwhelming force. Their speed allowed rapid interception, transforming defensive operations into aggressive pursuits that diminished enemy momentum before critical objectives were reached. One notable engagement occurred when Tempest pilots intercepted FW-190 fighter bombers attempting a low-level strike against transportation networks supporting impending Allied invasions. The Tempests closed the distance effortlessly, shooting down multiple attackers and preventing severe disruption to crucial supply lines. Ground crews observed the transformative effect these new capabilities produced, recognizing that the Tempest allowed pilots to exploit every tactical opportunity with confidence grounded in engineering excellence. Maintenance teams worked tirelessly ensuring maximum readiness, understanding that operational success depended heavily upon consistent mechanical reliability. Intelligence assessments confirmed that German commanders now considered the Tempest one of the most dangerous Allied aircraft operating over Western Europe. Reports described enemy pilots avoiding prolonged engagements whenever possible, highlighting the growing psychological impact created by this formidable new presence. Increasing Allied air superiority provided room for more strategic missions, allowing Tempest squadrons to escort bombers, conduct reconnaissance, and disrupt enemy transport convoys deep behind contested lines. Each mission demonstrated the aircraft's adaptability, proving its value across a wide range of demanding operational scenarios requiring both speed and precision. By early summer, the Tempest Mark V had firmly established itself as a dominant force shaping the air war, embodying the culmination of engineering lessons forged through years of hardship. Its first combat successes signaled a turning point, demonstrating that Britain finally possessed a fighter, capable of confronting evolving enemy threats with unmatched determination. London, June 1944, faced an unfamiliar terror as the first V-1 flying bombs screamed across the Channel toward vulnerable British cities. The Tempest, recently arrived and largely untested in extended combat, suddenly became the nation's most essential defensive weapon, carrying expectations heavier than any previous mission. Pilots quickly realized that the V-1 demanded absolute precision, because its speed and low altitude left almost no margin for interception. The Tempest's blistering acceleration allowed pilots to close the gap before the drone's pulsing engine reached populated areas, granting defenders critical reaction time during chaotic engagements. Squadrons adopted new tactics requiring steady nerves, since firing too closely risked engulfing the Tempest in fiery debris. Many pilots mastered the dangerous wingtip maneuver, nudging the V-1 off balance and forcing catastrophic disruption without detonating the warhead prematurely, protecting civilians through incredible courage. These missions occurred daily, creating relentless pressure that tested endurance, discipline, and mechanical reliability across a prolonged campaign. Ground crews worked tirelessly maintaining engines stressed by extended high-speed chases, understanding that any mechanical failure could mean devastation far beyond the airfield perimeter. Between June and September, Tempest squadrons destroyed hundreds of V-1 South, becoming Britain's most effective countermeasure against the deadly robot bomb. Intelligence analysts credited the aircraft with saving thousands of lives, demonstrating how engineering excellence combined with pilot skill could blunt technological terror. By late 1944, Germany's desperation produced even more advanced machines, including the Me-262 jet fighter whose speed surpassed anything Britain had previously encountered. Many believed piston-engine aircraft could never challenge such innovation, yet Tempest pilots prepared to identify weaknesses hidden behind the jet's remarkable performance. The Tempest's superior acceleration at low altitude offered a rare tactical advantage, allowing pilots to strike during vulnerable phases of enemy sorties. Squadrons positioned themselves near airfields where jet fighters landed with depleted fuel reserves, enabling swift ambushes that neutralized technological superiority through strategic discipline. One Tempest pilot achieved history's first confirmed kill against the Heinkel He-162, surprising the lightweight jet during a hurried retreat from contested airspace. Encounters like these proved that the Tempest could still dominate through timing, stability, and decisive bursts from its four powerful cannons. Germany's Arado 234 jet bomber posed another challenge, requiring pilots to anticipate high-speed dive patterns before launching carefully timed intercepts. The Tempest's robust structure withstood extreme maneuvers during these pursuits, reinforcing its reputation as the most capable low-altitude interceptor of the entire Allied arsenal. As winter tightened over Europe, the Tempest emerged as Britain's unexpected jet killer, bridging the technological gulf between older designs and the dawning jet age. Its triumphs over machines once deemed unstoppable preserved strategic momentum, proving that skillful adaptation could overcome even revolutionary enemy innovations. Allied airmen entered early 1945 confronting revolutionary German jets, whose unprecedented speed threatened to overturn every familiar rule of aerial combat. The Me-262, boasting astonishing velocity and heavy armament, appeared capable of restoring Luftwaffe dominance, creating deep anxiety across Allied planning staffs. Tempest squadrons understood that traditional interception would fail because the jet simply outran opposition at altitude, forcing new strategies built around timing. Pilots positioned themselves near German airfields, where Me-262s became vulnerable during takeoff, landing, or fuel-limited withdrawal, enabling decisive ambush opportunities. These airfield traps required relentless discipline, because pilots needed extreme patience before launching sudden strikes against jets caught during transitional moments. The Tempest's rapid low-altitude acceleration delivered the crucial advantage, allowing pilots to close distance quickly before the Me-262 regained its speed advantage. During these engagements, Tempests unleashed concentrated cannon bursts that tore through the fragile jet fuselages, often destroying aircraft before pilots could react. German commanders responded by deploying the tiny He-162, a rushed emergency fighter designed for rapid production despite significant mechanical shortcomings. Although theoretically fast, the He-162 suffered stability issues and dangerous structural weaknesses, enabling Tempests to exploit every flaw during chaotic combat encounters. One celebrated interception saw a Tempest catching an He-162 during a shallow climb, demonstrating how superior stability decisively overcame experimental innovation. The Arado 234 bomber added further complexity, forcing Tempest pilots to anticipate high-speed escape paths and strike during vulnerable dive recovery phases. Even these jet bombers struggled once Tempests forced them into abrupt maneuvers, since overtaxed jet engines frequently stalled under sudden directional changes. Luftwaffe leaders launched desperate late-war offensives, hoping jets could disrupt Allied advances, yet logistical collapse crippled operational tempo across shrinking German bases. Fuel shortages grounded many jets, leaving remaining pilots overstressed while Tempest squadrons maintained relentless pressure across every contested sector. Experienced Tempest veterans quickly recognized patterns in jet behavior, learning to predict acceleration rhythms critical for establishing successful intercept geometry. These insights allowed pilots to counter machines once considered unstoppable, proving knowledge could rival technological superiority when applied with precision. Combat reports from spring 1945 consistently praised the Tempest's ruggedness, since the aircraft endured violent engagements without losing structural integrity or responsiveness. Even when jets escaped, their limited endurance restricted sortie duration, giving Tempests additional chances to stalk returning aircraft near home fields. By April, Tempest units recorded numerous victories against jets, creating a psychological shift that shattered the Luftwaffe's final hopes of regaining initiative. German pilots increasingly viewed Tempests as the most dangerous Allied threat, acknowledging their unmatched combination of speed, stability, and punishing firepower. As Berlin neared collapse, Tempest squadrons continued hunting jets across diminishing air corridors, ensuring no remaining prototype altered the war's outcome. The final months revealed that Britain's ultimate piston fighter could challenge advanced German technology, marking a defining moment in aviation's transition era. By mid-1945, Europe's skies were littered with remnants of a vanquished Luftwaffe. Yet the Tempest, despite extraordinary contributions, remained largely invisible in public memory. Its lack of widespread recognition contrasted sharply with the enduring fame of the Spitfire, whose iconic lines and romanticized narratives dominated newspapers, films, and post-war literature. Historians and enthusiasts note that the Tempest entered service late in the conflict, when victory seemed increasingly inevitable, depriving it of the desperate drama that elevated earlier aircraft into symbols of national courage. Its battles lacked the narrative flair of Dunkirk or the Battle of Britain, existing instead in the quieter strategic phases of air campaigns over continental Europe. Pilots who flew the Tempest remembered its raw power and responsiveness, valuing its ability to destroy V-1 rockets, intercept jets, and dominate low-altitude combat. These victories, however, occurred in operational detail rather than dramatic spectacle, limiting broader public awareness despite their profound strategic significance. The aircraft's design, muscular and purposeful, lacked the visual poetry of the Spitfire. Its heavy frame, pronounced chin radiator on the Mark V, and utilitarian lines emphasized function over form, signaling that this was a fighter built for effectiveness rather than elegance. Newspapers and propagandists naturally gravitated toward aircraft with aesthetic appeal, leaving the Tempest overshadowed despite its undeniable accomplishments. Another factor contributing to obscurity was the limited production run. Fewer than 1,400 Tempests were built across all marks, restricting exposure to operational theaters and reducing the likelihood of its inclusion in high-profile commemorations or exhibitions. Yet among combat pilots, the Tempest's reputation remained sterling. Squadrons credited it with unparalleled stability during low-level strikes, decisive acceleration when engaging jets, and lethal firepower capable of annihilating both armored and aerial targets. These qualities elevated pilot confidence and operational success in ways no other piston fighter could match. The Tempest also played a critical transitional role in aviation history, bridging piston-driven aircraft with the emerging jet age. Its ability to counter the Me-262, He-162, and Arado, 234 proved that well-designed propeller fighters retained relevance, providing vital time for Allied adaptation and ultimately shaping post-war air strategy. Ground crews appreciated the aircraft's relative maintainability compared to earlier Sabre-powered models, highlighting that operational efficiency extended its effectiveness beyond pilot skill alone, contributing to a quiet but undeniable operational legacy. Despite these achievements, the Tempest's subtle influence, delayed introduction, and practical design ensured it remained a hero in the shadows, celebrated among specialists but absent from popular imagination. In the end, the Hawker Tempest symbolized peak wartime engineering, blending speed, firepower, and adaptability into a machine capable of dominating the final phases of European air combat. Its contributions enduring even as its legend quietly receded from view.